It was like this every day until one day I went on a cruise. And by the time I got off the ship, my life had been changed forever before I even knew it. This is The Hidden Beat. You're listening to Ty with WHJE. I watched this show for years, even when I would go through all the seasons and I would just keep restarting it. And there's this one character we're going to call Jesse that I especially admired. Jesse was a really cool character. He was rebellious in his own way, where he just did what he wanted to do and had cool hair and was just different in the coolest way possible. I always wanted to be similar to Jesse, had I not realized it yet. So as we went on this cruise, I honestly wasn't that excited. I didn't know what to expect. As we started off, we scouted the boat, looking for the coolest spots to be, where all the people would be at, even places to eat. It was magnificent. You see bright skies and a basketball court with people playing, and a mini golf course and a wave runner, which is like this simulation of surfing, and all sorts of amazing things. Right then and there, I knew I was so happy to be on this boat. But I didn't exactly know why yet. We were bored within the first couple of hours from walking around, so we wanted to know what they had to offer on this boat. So we found out that there was a teen club every night around 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. And we knew at that moment we found the best spot to be. We'd rush, eat our dinner, go back to the cabins, get fresh and smell good, then show up 10 minutes early to see what was going on. Music. People from countries all over. Lights. Everything in one spot. So here goes nothing. That night, I found out I love to dance. Dancing is a passion. I was pulled in the middle to freestyle, and before I knew it, I looked around and people were applauding and smiling for my moves, and this guy was doing it with me. It was like we were a tag team just taking turns killing it. He joined in and he would, make a motion for me to start dancing, and we danced all night long. So after that, we all walked around and was tired from dancing, and we just found a spot to sit down. We ended up pulling an all-nighter, but we just talked. The next day, we were eating breakfast, and we look over and find these girls and guys are looking at us. I say, hello. They respond, hola amigos. Whoa. These people are Hispanic. LA decides to go over and says, me llamo LA. I follow up with, me llamo Jesse. They introduce themselves as well, and we soon realize we don't know any Spanish whatsoever. So LA pulls out Google Translate and has a conversation with them. I'm like, what in the world? People communicating over an app when right next to one another? This ended up being everyone's best friend. They ended up recognizing us from the dance and wanted to meet us. So we talked for a while. Well, maybe not so much talk as much as translating. I never thought some of these people I met would have became friends I talked to till this day. I sat with this girl Yedid, and she told me she was going to teach me Spanish. She'd point to her eyes and say, ojos. I'd point to mine and be like, eyes. We did this for an hour. Some of her friends would come over and help me be able to pronounce it well and be able to do it exactly how it's supposed to be said. And this ended up being a lot of fun. This moment amazed me. I'm able to have just as much fun with someone when I don't even know what they're saying. I realized that you may not always be in the easiest encounters, but make the most of it. You might make something out of nothing. Be optimistic in life. One of the places that we ended up running into the same girls again was in St. Thomas. One of her friends helped me with what they were trying to say. He said they all wanted to meet up for the party. I said, sure, why not? This night, the party was sort of lame, so we all left. So, with the people that we all left with, there was my crew, which was LA, Jay, Gianni, and some friends we made along the way from Amsterdam, Mexico, Spain, Dutch. It was so nationally diverse, it was crazy. We all walked around until we found this sun deck. It was perfect. No one up there. We could see the ocean and the sky, wind flowing perfectly with our bodies. Beautiful. We played music and had our own dance party. But of course, we couldn't just play American music. We played some Spanish songs, and the girls would teach the guys how to dance to it and vice versa whenever the cha-cha slide or a trendy song came on. This was really fun. Yet it ended up asking me to teach her some of my moves, so I did. We went to the other side and played music, and I taught her how to dance, and she taught me how to tango and stuff. We couldn't understand each other, but we made the most of it. I didn't know what to think. Here I am in the middle of the ocean dancing with this girl I can't understand. But just having fun, able to communicate verbally, well, sort of. It was something I'd never forget. We all grabbed pizza and just relaxed from having fun all night long. We were just a bunch of teenagers trying to make the most of being stuck on a boat. It made me realize you gotta live for the moments. Things might not go as planned, but the side alley you're going down might just be better than the original yellow brick road. Soon, I lost my voice. Barely got any sleep, but that didn't stop me. I was determined to live this up to the fullest. We partied and played basketball, dodgeball, and a bunch of us guys even got together and ran around the track for some exercise. We did as much as we could together with the limited time available. As the days came closer to the cruise ending, for the first time I was happy and lived in no regrets. With all the experiences I had, people I met, friends I made, even this guy with the tongue piercing at dinner who photobombed my selfie. I knew I'd never forget this experience. I didn't regret going on the cruise and was ecstatic I went in the end. As the night came around, we pulled an all-nighter. Except this time, it was a whole crowd of us at the pool, having fun, talking, just soaking everything in. Yedid and her friends were crying. Soon, I realized Yedid was crying because of me. It was translated that she said to me, "The truth is, I don't know you very well, but I went on my journey in search of finding fun and new experiences, but didn't think it would be such a magical time I lived. You taught me so many things, you're very nice, and you were definitely the best thing that could have happened to me in my journey." I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. But she grabbed my hand and her friends, and everyone grouped up, and they ran and dragged us along. We realized that they all had a curfew from their chaperone. Before she went to her cabin, she stopped, gave me a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and she said her goodbye. She cried as she went to her cabin, and so her friends did. On our way back, we all sat and thought, wow, we affected them so much, and realized we all affected one another as well. I found out that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Yeah, I had an amazing time and unforgettable memories, but for what? I'll never see these people again. We tried to be as optimistic as possible, but truly all became sad. We all exchanged social media handles and promised to stay in touch. As me and LA walked to our cabin in the morning, he hugged me. He said this was the best cruise he's ever had and we have to do it again. I agreed. We walked as if we never wanted to leave this place. I made some lifelong friends of mine no matter the distance. I realized on this cruise why I chose a fake name. I didn't live as me. I lived as someone else. That someone else was the character Jesse. I was fun, cool, and different in every way possible. I was myself in all true colors and didn't care what others thought. I found out who I was. Now I live that by the expression, traveling is about finding things you never knew you were looking for. And I had been looking for myself, whether I know it or not. As I got home, I never really got back into the show. I loved how the character was always himself and was out there. And as I was on the cruise, I lived as that. I was myself. I didn't care what other people thought of me. I was just me. And I felt like I no longer needed to watch the show because I didn't need to admire him. I could admire myself for finally being me. You have been listening with Ty with WHJE 91.3. For more stories like this, go to WHJE.com. This has been The Hidden Beat.